In?
No, LinkedIn is not in, but वो कहते हैं ना जबरदस्ती ठोक दो.
Zabardasti. Yeah.
So from my side, it is I'm pushing to
Mhm.
some there. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
so two places. Yeah, let's try YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. So, YouTube. Okay, so it's done. So fingers crossed. Let's be on. Yeah, only fingers crossed. I thought it will be the first time on time we are able to do something.
Sir, these days, as long as you're close to the time, that's what matters. Most people are not even on time.
That's
I see so many professionals
Mhm.
not on time.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Manoj Atri, your host for tonight. I'm a real estate agent with Remax Hallmark. This is, uh, I have our guest today with me. And why don't I introduce the guest and then we take it to the next step? Hi, Faisal.
Hello, sir.
Hi. I would request to the audience if they can hear us, they can give us a yes on the side, on the, and then we are good to go so that we can comprehend that we are getting, they are getting the audio correctly and everything. From my uh, here, it is showing that we are getting it correct. Go ahead,
Um,
Faisal. Yes, I mean, my bars for both you and myself are still correct. Go ahead, sir.
yeah, sir. Yeah, sometimes it shows everything normal on our side, but sometimes there's transition challenges.
Mhm.
So it'd be best to get some sort of a response. But 7:01 on Monday evening, we're on time.
Wonderful.
Um,
So, how was your day?
it's Monday.
Monday, just beginning. Okay,
It's a cold Monday.
it's a cold Monday. Okay, wonderful, awesome. And just when we are, so that let's see if some of the people pick up on speed. How's the market going?
Market I'm starting to see is is not yet in the holiday spirit.
Okay.
I still see number of applications coming in. I still see everything as usual.
Mhm.
A little bit higher numbers than um, what last year's December was.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's where I see. I don't see anything unusual. It's very similar to what last December was, except numbers are a little bit higher.
Faisal, I don't know about yours, but in real estate, we are finding it quite crazy. It is really crazy.
Hmm.
And I think so. The main thing here is like because of COVID, not everyone could venture out too much. And apart from that, because the jobs are getting back now, you're getting back into the job market. And also, the interest rates are the lowest ever in our 14, 15, 20 years that we are seeing.
Yes, interest rates are making a big difference here.
Below 2%. That is okay. I have to speak up. That is the uh, info that has been shared. Increase my volume. Okay, fine.
Okay.
I'm going to increase my volume. So, like the real estate part, which is very crazy. So that is where it picks up, and it should be. That is what I'm thinking about. What do you have to add to that?
um, you know, and no wonder uh, real estate must be much higher for us to see the higher number of applications come in.
Mhm.
Um, because I don't see the real estate part. I just see the mortgage side, of course. But yeah, the numbers are higher from last December. Numbers are much higher. The rates.
Uh, the main thing here is my voice is not getting that much clarity. So let's see if I can speak properly. Uh, and I'll try to do that. Now, the next thing here is okay, let me give you an idea. Yesterday, during this weekend, I had shown a number of properties.
Mhm.
All of those properties, so you can roughly say 8 or 9 properties that were shown, has had multiple offers. Okay. One of them had close to 26 offers. 26. 7 or 8 is the normal, was normal. Like 7 or 8 is going normal.
Okay.
26. I mean, you're touching 100 or 150K above the market, which is, I don't know how long it will be able to be sustained, but that is what I am figuring out. Okay,
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
you are the master of multiple
I
offers.
know. No,
I've
I can
seen
handle it.
I've seen you in many enough number of cases. So I don't think your clients have to be scared at all.
No,
You know the game.
I'll add one more feather to that cap. Yes, even with this multiple offer, I managed to get the right numbers for one of my clients. She wasn't that keen, but we had the property for her. So it was not because we lost it, but because she wasn't that keen. So
I see.
I know the number. How to maneuver those multiple offer situations and how to stay away from it and then still pick up the right gem. Yes, I know. Over the that is what you do over the number of years. You learn how to bypass those difficult areas.
Yeah.
Wonderful, sir. Okay, let me take over to the agenda of the day. I hope we have enough people there to now. Yes. So we are now. Let me go ahead with the agenda of the day today, and let's see if I can explain it. Uh, Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you for joining. And this is where the agenda of the day is. We had a short real estate monologue here. We gave you a brief about what the market is, and the real estate part is a slightly getting quite crazy. We are seeing multiple offer situations everywhere because of the extremely low mortgage rates. Now, today we're going to cover one of the articles, and just one article because it's a slightly a lengthy article, and that's what we are going to cover. What are the 20 cold hard facts in real estate home buying? And then we will go to the main article of our day. Rent to own works, but be aware of its pitfalls. And so we cover some with some power presentation slides there. And we are going to have a live interview with our mortgage expert throughout. We'll take his expertise and guide you with the mortgage part of things around there. So that's the agenda of the day, and we will be now. Uh, Let me get an update. Do you want to add anything to that, Faisal, till the time I start with that cold hard facts?
No, it's a long article. I would. I'm going to sit back and see where things are
No, no,
on that.
we are going to take your expertise
Please,
on each and every one of them. Okay, so let's start over with the uh, hard facts here. Okay, this is where it is. This is by uh, 20 cold hard facts in real estate home buying, and this is by Lynn Pineda, and this was done way long time ago in 2014, but it still holds ground today, and it is by her website Imagine Your House. So that is where we are going to pick it up from, and let's start with the first one. The world we live in is not getting any kinder. The main thing facts here are at any time you're trying to, I'll give you some brief on that particular one before I go through this particular whole article. Whenever you're trying to buy a property, it is like try to visualize you are climbing Mount Everest. And when you're doing that particular thing, you basically do your homework completely. And some of the things that you may think are all okay, but it is better to double check. And these days, so that is my gist to start with it. So do your homework and be extremely prepared, because the more prepared you are, the more savings that you are going to get into the because it's your money. And if you know more details about it, you will be more aware of what is exactly happening, at what stage you are, and what all things you need to know for that particular one, and so that you can act yourself in proper way. Go ahead, Faisal. Do you want to add anything to that article?
I'm interested to see how many cold hard facts are there, because I can see the first three, and they are absolutely true.
Absolutely. Without that, I would not even start. Okay, let's get ahead on the first one. Okay, so the first one is the world we live in is not getting any kinder. That means like she wants uh, each and every one. Like now, most of the time, uh, whenever you're trying to deal, the first question they will ask you is what is your name, what is your email address, what is your phone number, and some of your IDs and things like that. And you have to share that particular one, and you have to make sure that you're dealing or with the right people. So that is it is a safety check. So just make sure whenever you are sharing your information with someone, you just have a slight background check on those particular one, and they should be having their social account whom you are talking to, so you can and if it's a realtor, you can double check like are they licensed or not and things like that, and that is where things are. So ID, they'll ask for your ID, and you should be able to share it, but make sure you are within a safety format of yours. What do you have to add to that, privacy?
No, IDs are absolutely necessary anywhere we go.
Yes.
So looking at a home, um, you know,
or even
someone's
starting the process. Yes.
yeah.
So that is what that is the basic thing is like once you start to read your IDs and make sure you have valid IDs, and apart from it, once you are sharing it with someone, make sure that you're sharing it with the right people. Okay, let's head over to the second part. Second answer. You must be pre-approved. Okay, now you are an expert on that particular one. I will let you add to it before I take it away. You must be pre-approved. Go ahead, sir. Why don't you give some update on this?
You must be pre-approved is a very critical um turning point. Um, a lot of uh, a lot of clients that come in expect themselves to be pre-approved at a certain amount based on their income. But there are many other facts that have to be checked in before um, things can be finalized. And there's a long checklist of things that lenders go through, banks go through. It's a must. And every bank goes through the very similar checklist. Um, and ourselves as a mortgage broker, we go through this exact same checklist, even more sometimes, to make sure that the client, when they go in, and as we talked about multiple offers, they have an upper hand. They can go in with full confidence and expect themselves to win, at least from the financial point.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to add the third part also to this particular one at the same time. Don't expect to look at homes until you're being pre-approved. Now, let me give my 2 cents on this particular. Faisal, try to imagine you are not pre-approved. Okay, let me get you on slide. Let's say suppose you're not even pre-approved. You have no clue up to what amount you will be get qualified for. You have no clue what is the interest rate that you're going to get. You have no clue, are there any things showing on your credit reports that are that can hamper your rate there. Okay, so now you want to go and see a property for $600,000, and you're not even qualified for half a million. Well, you don't have the down payment for it. And let's say suppose even if you have the down payment, you do not know how much is it going to be per month. And let's say suppose you do not know how much is it going to be per month, and when someone will give you that particular breakdown, you may say, no, I can't even afford it. So why do we need to start the whole exercise when you're not even there? And then let's say suppose there are some documents which are completely missing. You need all to go through all those particular steps. You literally, like you cannot even. I'll give you an example. I, on my own, because the credit score is everything is fine, and the down payment was there, the income was there, and when I started going and checking on my own, they went through the Equifax credit report and score and they said, how many cars do you own? I said, they're all paid off, and I do own too. They said, no, they're still showing that you owe them. I said, how's that possible? And then the simple thing was, they told me, I need your discharge letter. So now these are so small, simple things, but you do not know what is there on your credit reports and scores. And to tell you frankly, I have seen this numerous times. And this is like whenever I'm sitting it with them and walking them through the numbers, and I said, okay, you will qualify for this particular amount. I'm giving you thumb on the basis of the thumbs up rule. Now, this is going to be your per month. Can you handle it or not? And they take a back seat at that stage right away. You have not started going and seeing any particular property, and you, because you get into the reality check right there and then. You don't, like most of them. I mean, like you're like, okay, this real estate agent showed us the properties first, and they then at the 11th hour, you're now juggling with all those particular documents are missing, 5 days conditions are there, I cannot meet with that particular time frame, and now you have to unnecessarily go to a lender where you have to pay more, or something will go wrong. You have been like spending 1 or 2 months going and seeing particular properties, and you are back to square one at any cost. That's what I initially started. You are going climbing a Mount Everest. You need to know how to go about it. And then you have to, then I would go one step even further. Apart from the pre-approval stage, go and sit down with the mortgage broker. Ask him various details. What is the interest rate? What is like the CMHC fees portion? How does that come into it? Home insurance portion, home inspection portions. Those also things are being explained to you in thoroughness. And that is a part of the pre-approval. That is part of, like your understanding what you are getting into. It is not that you've seen the property, you've signed everything, and now you are being told you have to be given. I'm not even prepared for it. But now it's at the 11th hour. What do you do? So, from my point of view, is before even going and seeing a single property, you need to know up to what amount you will qualify for, what would be the rate, how much will it come to per month, what will be the taxes, what will be the utility cost, and the whole 9 yards, the home insurance part and things like that. And then you know the whole picture before even you go and start looking for a property. What do you have to add to it?
No, you're absolutely correct. There's a there's there's a huge part that is needed to understand besides just going and looking at homes.
Okay, let me see if I can. Yes, I
There you
have.
go.
Yeah, much better. So that everyone can have it. Okay, let's cover the next point. Make sure to get your ducks in a row. Absolutely. That's what I was just sharing that out. You need to know the whole 9 yards. You cannot like and then let's say suppose this is also I mean I generally okay, let's say suppose $3,000 or $4,000 you can afford, but it is your life is going to become tight. And the main thing here is you cannot go and buy a lower property because lower properties are not there in the market. So now you may try to pick up a rental property where you can rent out a portion of the property. And then you can, yes, with that I can handle it. Or maybe a friend or a relative would like to rent out a portion of your property. Because once you know all these numbers, that is how you will start going and looking at properties account.
Buying a property is a one-time event. Paying it on a monthly basis is an event 12 times a year. And for the entire ownership of the property. So
yes, you have to understand the whole 9 yards before even you go and take a single step out. Okay, let's see what's the next one. Know that your money will only buy you so much. I just covered it. Absolutely. And the main thing here is this happens on. I see. I've done it so many times. I exactly know, and I ask them this particular one. I first start whenever I'm trying to explain it to my clients. First, I will ask them what are your requirements. What are like in which area are you looking? See, I literally walk them through. Like this is the dream, and this is the reality on the ground. So you have to land now. Okay. And the landing is a perfect third at that particular moment of time when I ask them, okay, have you understood this particular part? Your requirements are all okay. Do you have any questions at this particular point? No, we are all okay at this particular one. And then I tell them, okay, this is the down payment portions and things like that, 5% up to half a million. Anything above that, you require 10% plus closing cost and blah, blah, blah. And then I have to have you understood this particular part? Yes, we have understood this particular part. Now, I ask them at this particular stage, do you have any questions for me at this particular stage? No, 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 we are all fine. Okay, now let's explain to you. How much is it going to be per month? Do you know? No, no, no. Okay, yeah, let's work. At that particular stump is the real fund that is there. Everyone will go to a cipher. And then I have to give them alternative. Is this okay? Can you handle this? Because don't start this exercise. Okay, the question that comes in here is, we can go and buy a lower property. Yes, you can. But there is nothing in the market. Even at the price that you are asking, that is a challenge. See, this is one of the biggest challenges that they face. Income is there, credit is there, down payment is there, blah, 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 everything is there. The amount that you will get qualified for, we don't have properties for that particular price. That is the biggest challenge we are facing. So now you may have to push your maximum number there. Now, when you push to the maximum, you may not be able to afford it per month. What do? That is when you can have a property which can have a rental component. And that is how then I start giving them the alternative depending upon what the feedback is. If they say, no, we're already living downtown paying $3,000, this is nothing. I said, fine, perfect. Now you are in that boat. Already you're in that boat. Go ahead, Faisal, add your stuff.
No, there's not much for me to add there. You've explained enough. Yeah, it's a month payment per month. This is also a hurdle I face when I explain the pre-approval with the rate, payment, including taxes, and if there is condo fees or whatever the case is. Yeah, it does. I do hear some silence sometimes.
It is the exact part of the reality, and I at that moment come to know that the plane has landed. Now, has it landed safely or not? That is to be seen, because that is the reality check on the ground. Now you have, okay, this is what I have to pay from my pocket. You have been hearing from so many people, this is so good, this I made so much in real estate, blah blah blah, and this is what is everyone is making. But now, yes, you make good money, but in the end of the day, you should be able to carry it per month basis, and at least have 3 or 4 months. There is another aspect I will tell you. This is also what happens sometimes. Lots of people would like to have a very safe cushion. Okay? And at that stage, I give them these particular alternatives. Okay, what was in your mind? On our mind, it was $3,000. We don't want to go above that. But the properties and everything, I'll give you a higher number. Let's say, suppose it's coming to $4,000. I give them, okay, how much is it per year? $12,000. Okay? So if you have in your bank account or a line of credit of some sort for $15,000 or $20,000, you're covered for 1 year. Because whenever you are trying to buy a property, the first 6 months are the most difficult ones. The same people who have bought this property now in 6 months are so comfortable, they will call you, let's go and buy another property. You get my point? So the
Yes.
first 6 months, because like it's a new venture. It is absolutely all the things are new. You have to understand the whole 9 yards. So the first 6 months are the very difficult ones. And the main thing here is, even in the first month, you have all these surprises.
Yes.
So that is the reason that all these things come into picture. So if you are like settled in the first 6 months, you're good to go. And that is where the line of credits. So now, and also, you have done this many times, and I'm going to add that we have told them many times, don't buy too many things before you're buying a property. Let's say suppose you want to buy a car, buy it later, after the closing. What do you have to add to that particular aspect?
Absolutely. Do not buy anything before the closing. It only jeopardizes your, it makes it difficult.
And also, like, what would you like to add to don't open new lines of credit,
Yeah.
new
And
credit card?
going for more credits before closing, not a good idea. Not a good idea.
And,
It
and,
just makes it difficult.
and one very important thing, if you are doing anything, let us know.
Oh, upfront, please. Yeah, it's the best way I can share is buying a property is like this pose that you're doing because bank is doing an assessment, all of it, like it's almost like a pose. You have to smile and you're posing until you pick up the keys. If you change anything,
Not a passport size photograph.
yeah, if you change anything, remember that may or may not have effect on your approval. And that's the best way I can actually compare and explain.
Yeah, don't change things. Get this address, and then act smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me the next one. The local real estate market must be known. Absolutely. Now, here, I'll add a couple of things. Here. That is where, see, when you did the pre-approval correctly, now you know what is the price range that you are getting. Okay. Now, if there are no properties in your particular price range, or this is the area that you can only buy, you may have to rethink. Either change the area, or either bring some more money, or bring a cosign, or something else has to be done. And how did you get that particular information? Because you did the people. The local real estate market has to be completely known. Go through open houses. See, this is what has to be understood by anyone. Let's just suppose you are now qualified for $500,000. Now, and you want a particular area only. There are websites by the real estate board, realtor.ca, treb.ca. Go and search all the listings in that particular area. Simply understand, okay, the condos in this particular area, one bedroom are going for this particular price range, two are going for this particular price range, a semi-detached is going for this price range, townhouses are going for this price range, and detached properties are going for this price range. Now, either change the area or the property type. You get my point? You have to adjust accordingly now. Now, reality is there. Before you get the next reality check of multiple offers.
Yeah.
That's going to come next. So you have to know the local area and what area is there, what is the price range, what type of a property, what style of a property. Those things you have to understand. You want to add anything to it?
No. Well, basically, when you get started, what you expect to what the reality is, there's some difference, and you have to be willing to work with it. That's really what it comes down to.
Yes. I mean, as an expert, we can guide, but the amount of input that you also do helps because see, this is what I always tell them. There is some information between when you are talking to two people. It is like some information is there in your computer and some is there in my computer, but you have to explain that information to me so that I can accordingly guide and help. And so that information has to be shared there. Okay, let's pick up the next point. Don't make any major purchases while buying a home. Rather, we just picked up that particular point.
Yep.
You add to it, and then I will add to it.
Major purchases, and it says about major purchases, but I suggest any purchases really. Anything like co-signing a car, buying a car, leasing a car, leasing equipments, buying appliances, things along those lines. All of those, I would say, getting furniture on 0%, things along those lines. And there's many more to it. There's a long list, but any sort of purchases that has a monthly payment attached to it, even if it is not today and it is in future, makes a huge difference. Any big purchase like that, I suggest you speak to your mortgage agent, mortgage broker first.
This is also like I tell them, print out the Equifax report now. Let's say suppose you are paying your bills. Absolutely. Before you print it out, pay all of them off because you are going to pay them anyway. And let them show zero as much as possible because that will help you to get approved for a higher amount. Now, you have some lines of credit and blah, blah, blah. And if you need to close them down, bring them as clean as possible. You are now going to get like talking to a lender and showing I am an expert. I take care of my business funds very well. This is what you want to see.
Yes.
As now, let's suppose you have to go and ask for a credit card or anything. Don't do that. Let the experts guide you there. Want to make a purchase for a car? No, don't do that. Buy the house and then buy the car. Don't go for like you have to go for anything, any other things. Try to like consolidate from every angle so that your approval comes out to be the highest. Because even if the approval comes out highest, you don't need to go and buy to that particular all that amount. You can buy anything lower because lower will work, but the other way around will not work. Okay, let's see what exactly is the next point. You too will need to be harmonious to get the home you want. Absolutely. You have to be as a part of the same team. You have to have a gist or a very strong desire to purchase. Go ahead, Faisal. You want to add, and I'll then add something more to it.
Harmonious is a very good word to use to get the home you want. Basically, the goal, and everyone involved. And there are times when I've not had to use it often, but there are times when I have to, like for example, we were discussing a scenario before we started the webinar where I'm asking something and the client goes, why do you need that?
Sure.
Understandable, because I'm I'm a mortgage agent. I'm asking you certain questions that may feel like I'm asking, too much.
Mhm.
However, let's keep in mind that, and I had to remind this to one of the client a long time ago,
Mhm.
that myself, realtor, the bank, the lawyers, every one of us is on one side of the table along with you. All of our goal is to have you pick up the keys.
Yes, this much closer.
Every one of us is making an effort to make sure you pick up the keys at 4 p.m., 5 p.m. on the day of closing. That's the goal.
Yes,
Now, to get to that goal, we all are asking different questions. We're doing our part because it's a puzzle, right?
yes,
It's a puzzle where there's small pieces that are going in. Realtor has a big piece of the puzzle, lawyer has a big piece of the puzzle, mortgage broker has a big piece of the puzzle, and there's small other puzzles. So we're all putting together this puzzle for client. So we're here to help them in the process. If you're asking certain questions, it's part of the process.
absolutely. From the word harmonious, this is what has to be seen. We are all part of a team. Yes, before you become a part of the team, you can ask lots of questions and see, are you comfortable with those people or not? Are they answering you honestly or not? Have you been referred properly or not? I mean, those things can be there, but once you have a team, then make sure that you are like all are in harmony, understand how the process works, how you are going to act during those process, ask questions as many as you want, and once you are signed up, make it as smooth as possible, because we are going to make it as smooth as possible for you anyway.
Exactly. And ask questions as many as you want. That's the key. The
Yes,
more questions you ask, the more you understand, the more you will get a feel of the professional you're working with.
absolutely. And initially, I'll also guide you further. Let's say suppose you ask a particular question
Mhm.
and he does not answer you properly and gives you a different answer. Now you know to change the person, because I
They're
mean,
not answer.
yes, because you are asking something, he has not answered you that particular thing, and he has even taken you in a different direction, and now he's explaining something. Because if initially he's not able to answer you, the rest of the process also, there will be like, see, this is like, I okay, I'll give you an example here right now, and this is our client. You'll be amazed that this is for both of our clients. Okay, and she brought in a referral, and I had a general discussion with her, and she was very happy to work with me. She signed up with me and being referred by one of our old clients, and I went and showed her. After showing her the first time and things like that, she opened up and said, with the other agent, I lost close to $70,000. So that is what can happen. And that is why when she called her up and said, I want to work with your agent, and she came and met, and we walked her through again, because I generally like, I go beyond. Even if you have understood something, I'll just make sure that I make you understand twice. So that by chance, if I missed something, you are, see, because what happens is, though we all are in the same thing, but we look at the same problem in from various different angles.
So perception is a huge factor. Same cup of water can be half full or half empty.
Yes. And,
Both
and,
are right answers.
and to tell you frankly, with this social media, that same glass of water, half filled, I can tell you, if you ask 25 people, they can come up with 25 different answers.
Exactly. And they are all correct.
And they are all correct. And some of those aspects, you have not even visualized that this can also come into picture.
Yep.
So that is the reason life has become we all think very, very different. And our circumstances are different. So it is good that you talk to people the way that you feel comfortable. It should you should get the right answers. You should have a good vibe. That is when you sign with an agent and make your life fun. We're taking
Asking lots of questions is a good idea. Research lots of it, understand, um, you know, yeah, research, ask questions. Those will save you a lot of money today, tomorrow, and forever.
okay. Now I'm going to get to all things here. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, so the next one is don't think a seller will be tickled pink with your low ball offer. She's not going to be tickled for a low ball offer. No, never, ever. Okay, Pilot, what do you have to add to this?
There are times when offers, lowball offers, almost becomes offensive.
Yes, yes, yes. And apart from offensive, they'll also ask you how long have you. The first question is how long have you been in the market? How long have you been in the market? Because to tell you frankly, some of your buyers will tell them, why can't I give this much? Okay, and I'll then have to, then explain them 5 steps. Like, why can't you offer this? I have to go backwards and I have to ask them, okay, how did you come at this number? Give me an idea. How did you come at this particular number? This is what I do. If you have seen a particular property, if you have liked a particular property, I'll send you the comparables that are getting sold now, recent ones. I'll also send you what has been the history of this particular property. Okay? Before you give me your numbers, go through them properly. Let me see how much you go into the detail of it. Okay? Then I go with them through this absolutely the comparables. How many bedrooms are there? How many washrooms are there? What is the lot size? And then through the pictures, we will see the condition of the property. Can you imagine? Now, on that basis, you will be able to come up with this is the price that should be there. Because the listings are all over the place these days. People will do a low ball offer. There are $1 million properties listed for $1, and you send them $1 and they accept it. They want you to come up with the right price. They don't want to because you may come up with anything, and then down the line, if they see no one takes a bid, then they will put the right price. But see, so that is why I mean you have to understand the area, what are the condos going on in that particular area, your type of a property, detached houses, what are they going for, what is the condition of this one, what you should offer. And apart from all those things, you have to see how many days in the market that particular property is. If the property, general rule is, if the property is lying there for 15, 20 days in the market, yes, the listing agent may be willing to listen anything that you say. If that property is not going anywhere, will you take a low ball offer? This is what he will say. Why don't you put it on paper and let me give it to you? Because he wants some effort at you. Are you serious or just throwing these numbers there? So you have to get that particular one. What do you have to add to that?
Sir, offer is an offer is an offer. Put that on the paper. Before you put that on, make sure it is not an offensive offer, and go from there. Sellers, the seller wants to sell the property is why it's in the market. And don't think that you're the only buyer of the property. There's many buyers.
Yes.
You have to stand out from the crowd. And your realtor is the one that helps you stand out. Like this entire list that's in front of you, um, those are some of the things that the realtor helps you with, but there's more. Your realtor actually helps you stand out. So picking the right realtor is absolutely a key to to getting the right property. And we were discussing this earlier in the webinar. 26 offers.
Yes.
Out of those 26 offers, how do you even stand out? Who do you think will help you stand out? The only person that can is your realtor, no one else.
And make sure that he doesn't overpay the last offer.
Yeah, because 70,000, losing 70,000 is easy.
Very, very, very. Okay, let's head over to the next one. Just don't risk the home you love over a little bit of money. Absolutely. This I have seen enough number of times. Either every one of us gets stuck in the last 5, 10, 15, or 20,000.
Absolutely.
The elephant can cross, the tail gets stuck. That particular part is very, because see, it becomes an ego part. It doesn't become a transaction, it becomes an ego. If by chance, first of all, that should not be happening, but let's suppose at the end, the buyers and sellers both are at the same table sometimes, and they're like, okay, this is happening, this is happening. The last 5, 10, 15, 20 is there. See, most of the time, we can control 90%, 95% we control. 97, 98% also we control. Last 2% or 3% is very difficult to control sometimes. 1, 2, 3% is very difficult to control. So what happens there is, then you have to walk them through the next stage. Sir, you have seen 20 to 25 properties. We are giving, and if the value is there, because see, it's not an exact science there. It's a supply and demand, and how much you like it. What is the condition of the property? Because there are some sellers who cannot sell that particular property. They sell it for less because the property is not closed. They goofed up completely. So you will, and the supply and demand is not there in the market. So you have to come up with the best. So the last 5, 10, 15, or 20, depending upon the property type or things where you are, be open to be flexible. And the main thing here is you're only talking a very small amount in your mortgage, anywhere from 25 to 50 to $100 per month. So it's not a big deal. And
Usually,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
The main thing here is if you are going to stay there for 4, 5 years, yes, it can be handled. If you are going to stay there for a very short period of time, yes, that can be an issue. So those are some of the factors that you should be thinking when you are stuck up in the last 5, 10, 15, or 20. Go ahead, Pat.
See, last $15,000-$20,000 usually is $50 or less in payment change. And it really is about the ego. But as you said, the buyer should be taking a step back and really looking at what is the list price? Where are we? There is some negotiation back and forth. The buyer does not have to have the last word on the negotiation at the same time. And look at, does this home fit what I'm looking for? And if that's the case, the price can be a little bit off, but you will cover that up over the time. And really, it's not about a difference. It's more about getting the home. And I say this to clients, interest rate is one factor, but the more important is getting the mortgage approval,
True.
which most people don't think of it as more important. But if you look at the rate and the approval is more important than the rate.
That's
Just like that, buying the property, getting the property is more important than really that $15,000 difference.
sometimes, yes, because that sometimes, I mean, I had a client every time after 5, 6 he used to get stuck at the last $5,000, and we had to start the whole exercise all over again. Okay, I literally sat down with him and I said, "Why are you getting stuck up at the last $5,000?" Because that used to be, like his ego was coming between so heavily. We are losing 5, 7 properties, and this was like 8 or 9 years ago. You had a lot of flexibility at that time, not now.
Yeah.
So I had to make him bypass that. Be like, okay, forget that last $5 or $10,000. You're only talking $25 here, which is not much, which was not a big deal. So we overcame down the line. But I have seen people when they're getting stuck with the last portion. Okay, expect the home will have needed repairs, 100%. Apart from repairs, there will be surprises also. And the main thing here is, this is where, at this particular stage, you should have, maybe you don't have the funds, but you should at that stage have a line of credit or a family friends or anyone else where you have access to some funds, because there are always last minute surprises. Okay, Faisal has just taken a short break. Let me continue with the next number. Seller presents are at showings are diamonds in a rough. Absolutely. When the sellers are there, you can ask them questions. Ask them about the neighborhood. Ask them about the next door neighbors on your left hand side, on your right hand side. What happens here? Are there any, how are the kids schooling there? How is the buses for children? And utility bills. What exactly, during their period of time, what exactly has happened? And what is the, how long they've stayed? You can get a very, very good idea about the property in general and in totality. So it is very, a must. If someone is there, they can be helpful. And sometimes some of the sellers will go out of their way to even explain you more. Take that cue and seek that more information about that particular property. Even in the end, let's suppose you don't end up buying that particular property, you have learned more about real estate, more about homes, and some of those other tips may be helpful to you for the next property that you will go and pick it up. Okay, Faisal is back with us. So let me pick up the next point and then we will take his cue on that. Many sellers can have a soft heart. Absolutely. They would welcome you to, and to tell you frankly, I'll share this one from many experiences. Faisal, I'm going to share this one. Many sellers can have a soft heart. Faisal, some of the sellers, let's just suppose they have two equal offers.
Mm-hmm.
You get my point? Both are the same price, both down payments are same condition. Let's just suppose the conditions are same and the closings are same, and then they choose one over the other.
Yes.
That is where what happens here is, and I've asked them, because this has happened a few times, and I've asked, like, okay, why did you choose us instead of them? The offers were the same.
Mm-hmm.
They said, your clients would be enjoying this property more, and we felt comfortable with them. they showed more interest and they will take more keen because see, after living for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, you have an emotional attachment with the house. You would like
Absolutely.
to pass on that emotion with someone to carry those ones. And then down the line, like sometimes you're passing by, there may be a hello, hi there, and you
Yes.
may be going into the next door neighbor. So
Yes.
lots of things are in play. It's not only the money factor, there are other factors also. I've seen uh, the seller saying, we like your client, we are going to work with her. I've heard those words. So they have a soft touch to it because uh, every seller is different. Go ahead, Faisal, you want to add?
So when a seller has, and when you talk about 7, 8 offers, right?
Yes.
Like you said, over the weekend, you showed 7, 8 homes, and your client was very close to getting that home, and the client was not so keen, so they, chose something else instead of this property. Now, imagine being a seller on that side. When you have 7, 8 offers, there's something that seller looks at. It's a piece of paper and stuff written on it, but they do know remember some impressions. They also look at the transaction, the negotiation, the going back and forth. There's many things a seller looks at.
Mhm.
um I remember selling homes with you, and there are some people that come in pretend like thinking that they own the home already.
Mhm.
Okay. And there are some that even ask, can I open this door?
Mhm.
There is a certain type of respect
Yes,
that you can see in their actions. They don't even
absolutely.
have to talk about it. You can see it in their actions.
Mhm.
The way they even park in your driveway, the way they walk through the property, the way they talk to you if they ask you questions, so on and so forth.
Mhm.
So these all make a huge difference when the seller has to decide, will I pick this offer or that offer?
Absolutely. I'll share an example. I had a client and she was going into a multiple offer situation and she was very, very smart. She said, Manoj, with this whole offer that you're taking, I'm going to write a personal note to the seller. And I wasn't sure whether that will work or not. But she insisted, and because she was in the writing industry, so she knew how to write well. And I did share that with them. And they were very much happy with her. We didn't get lucky there, but the thing is that played a very very tremendous role. So yes, you can pick up some of these tips which people share, and they can work sometimes.
And as I said, this is an article that has 20 points. There's many more.
Yes, but some of these are very good points, and they've just covered the entire spectrum of buying. Wonderful. Let's head to the next one. A well-maintained home will demand more money from you. Absolutely. If the property is good, if it shows very well, they will demand that money. Sometimes you will see two houses next to each other, and the next one is asking 50K more than the same one. They're the same layout. And then you have to go and do your due diligence of the extra upgrades that are there in that particular house, and you have to make sure those upgrades can uh, exactly handle that particular 50K. Don't fall emotionally there. Make a sound decision. Okay, the kitchen is there, which is another 10 or 15, 2, 3 washrooms are there, another 5 or 10 there, and then is it hardwood? Is it some other stuffs there? So you go break them down and then figure it out. Okay, yes, the upgrade is there. And again, doing those upgrades takes time, money, and efforts also.
Yep.
So those things have to come into the picture. Go ahead, Faisal.
Every home that is maintained well, of course, it's maintained well, and they want the money for it.
Yes.
Um, some people spend lots in landscaping. I've seen.
Oh, huge backyard. Very nice backyard.
Um, I remember having a client that had PhD
Mhm.
in landscaping.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I've never heard of that.
Okay,
That was the one time I heard.
okay.
But could you imagine PhD in backyard
Wow.
in landscaping? Sorry.
Okay.
What do you think that person's home looks like?
Yeah.
That person's landscape looks like?
Okay, interesting.
Okay.
They-
It
they-
was phenomenal.
yes.
Very well done. And very thought out, very laid out well, so on and so forth. Of course, that person is selling their home. They want top dollars.
Yes. Faisal, some of the houses, the bones are there, everything is there. You enter and you want to run away.
Exactly.
You enter, and the thing is, they will be trying to show you. Did you see the basement, sir? I've seen. I have an
I've
idea.
seen enough to not see
I have an
anything.
idea now. I have an idea what is this. You have to run out the property, and then you come out and see, okay, that is the reason it's there in the market for such a long time. It's a very good property. Who has the time to spend another 50K on top of it?
Yeah.
And so you have to. Okay. Now we are getting into the nitty-gritty of the offer. The real estate contract deadlines matter. Absolutely 100%. This is a contract. It has a deadline. It has an expiry date. It has irrevocable dates. You have to work with those time frames. Within 24 hours, you have to do the deposit. Within that particular time frame, your offer has to be accepted or rejected. And then you can come back again. The property may be there, the property may not be there in the market at that particular period of time. So those many things are there. It is a contract, and you have to make sure you adhere to those particular things. And you have to understand what are the 5 days deadline of conditions. What is the survey condition? What are the time frame for those particular conditions to be adhered to? So you have to understand all of those jugglery when you are doing. It's a contract based, and if something goes wrong, you have to get an amendment done. Act accordingly. You have to follow the process. It is not that you can take a fancy of it. Go ahead, Faisal.
Yeah.
You need to answer.
No, it is absolutely true. It's a contract. Adhere to it.
Absolutely. Now the next one is very interesting. It says, practice the skill of visualization. 100% sure. I'll explain you in 2 different ways.
Mhm.
And I've talked to lots of my clients about, when you go and see a particular property, try to see how it is going to look empty. If there is a lot of stuff lying there, try to visualize how will it look when it is empty, because everything is going to go off. You get the point. And
Yeah.
second thing is, when it is completely staged, are you understanding it?
Yeah.
When it is completely staged, again, you have to remove those things and visualize the property. Because with that staging, it's like like you're picking it up from a magazine
Yes.
when it's not actually a magazine.
The reality is different.
Everything will be gone. So in both the circumstances, able to visualize what you are exactly trying to do. Get a feel of the bones of the property. How will it look empty? And then your furniture has to come in over, because some of these stagers, they are masters. I'll give you an example, so you can visualize that. Faisal, I went and looked at a property with a builder, okay, and it's a model home. Lights are there, carpets are there, top stuff is lying around, all the lights are on, blah blah blah, and I fell in love with it right there and then. And I said, okay, that's the model home. No, no, we're not selling that. Okay. Now he gave me a key. Go and look for 7, 8 others that are there. Pfizer. I went and looked at 7, 8. I could not. I just came out. I said, "What is this nonsense?" And I said, "When are you selling this model home?" He said, "You're not selling it." Model home is perfect. When you go and look at that same house, same square footage, same plan of the
Layout.
same blueprint. Wow! I said, what a difference! What a difference! So that is what exactly happens. So that is where this visualization factor has to be played completely thorough. Go ahead first.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Two properties can be side by side, exact same layout, everything exactly same from outside. You go in, one you fell in love with, the other one you want to run away.
Until I ran away from 7, 8 of them, and the model home was perfect. I was ready to cut the check there. But all those other ones, I said, what nonsense is this? And I said, are you going to fix it? No, 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 everything is as it is. I said, forget about it then. Keep on selling this particular $1 million homes on your model home. Whenever you're ready, let me know about the model. This is like, it is really that visualization part. It's really, I mean, that's the best way I can explain this particular visualization one. Okay, next one. Letting a seller stay beyond the closing date is risky. It is not only risky, it is dangerous. It's a liability. Anything happens to him or the property, you're liable for it. Faisal, you'll be able to add more to it. Go ahead. Letting, and let's say suppose he doesn't leave. Now you're in a landlord tenant board.
I will just say one word: listen to your professionals and don't learn the hard way.
I have seen many a times. Okay. He needs one more. Can't we give him 1 or 2 days? Or can he come earlier? No. Not earlier, not later. That's the date. Everything has to happen on that date. From that date onwards, now, anything happens to the property, you are liable. The
Yeah.
insurance company will work accordingly.
Yeah.
It's a risk written all over.
Yep.
There can be a break-in. There can be any other stuff that can happen in the house. You are liable for. Sometimes they ask, can't we get the key 1 or 2 days earlier? No. It's a big risk. It's a big liability. It's a big. You cannot fathom if anything can go wrong. And that is why I mean sometimes what happens is they even try to ask you for the key in the morning when they're closing in the evening. No, let the property close. You get the key. There can be anything that can go wrong with the closing. Go ahead. You want to add anything?
It's a contract.
It's a contract. You have to adhere to the contract. Yes, very well said. Okay. Buying a home at fair market value is a good thing. Absolutely. And this is where a professional will come in handy. he will try to keep you as close to the market value as possible. That is what his professional level is there. That is where he comes into the picture. So, because if by chance, if you have overpaid for the property, that means let's say suppose you have overpaid by 5% or 10%, it will take you at least 2 to 3 years to come to that particular level. And that is when we come in handy as professionals. We are there to guide you to remain as close to the market value as possible. And second thing, and this is very, very important, Faisal, I'm sharing this. If you are by chance even paying over the asking price, you should exactly know how much over you are paying from the asking price. What are your circumstances? Can you go back, or you would like to jump into it? But the main essence of the point is here is if you are overpaying, you need to know beforehand that I'm overpaying, and this is the amount I'm overpaying with. It should not be down the line. You have closed the property now, and now you come to know I've overpaid for the property. No, that doesn't work. Before you are accepting the offer, and if you're overpaying, you should need to know how much you've overpaid. Go ahead, first.
Yep. It's better to have everything upfront than later.
Yes, you cannot pay. Okay, so you have to call it off. Okay, not a problem. I will be. I'll wrap it up in 5-7 minutes, and then the power presentation I can do. Not a problem. Okay, give me a moment here. Cash can sometimes be king. 100%. 100%. See, uh, the cash can be king or an offer without condition. That's the same thing. So an offer without condition has, let's say suppose I am the seller and I have two offers in front of me. One is 500 with no conditions, and one is 510 or 515 with 5-day conditions. I may choose 500 because that is getting addressed today, not tomorrow. And this particular person with 5-day condition can come after 5 days and say, no, I'm not buying. And then the market has changed, and now I have to wait another 2-3 years to get it done. 2-3 months rather, not years. Years would be different. Go ahead, Faisal.
Yeah, not having conditions makes the seller that much more comfortable.
Absolutely. And it is like that is where, when we started with this, a pre-approval comes in very handy. Let's say suppose you are stuck in with something. Now your mortgage broker has all the paperwork. He has gone through the whole 9 yards. He has given you a green signal. Go and buy a property for $500,000. Absolutely no problems. And now, if you're not overpaying for the property, you can give him a call and he may say, yes, go ahead, put it firm. I have no problems. I have checked it up thoroughly. You're good to go. And you may be able to remove the condition there. So it can change the equation. Faisal, last one, and let's see how this one is handled. A local skilled realtor is worth their weight in gold. Perfect. That's what I was saying about myself. Yeah, go ahead, Faisal. I'm feeling here. Go ahead.
I don't agree with that last part. A local skilled realtor is worth their weight in gold. It should say a skilled realtor.
Sure.
Because
makes more sense. Yes.
See, local and skilled, I'm not sure. I agree with that at all. Because we bought properties in many different neighborhoods.
Yes.
In many different cities, per se, not even neighborhood. Like every property has been a different neighborhood, of course.
Yes.
And there are realtors that say, oh, I'm the expert of this area.
Yep. And then you ask them 5 questions and they cannot answer.
Exactly. And more important is to find a skilled realtor. When I say skilled, one is, of course, how long they've been in business. Do they do this full time or part time? Do they have, who are they? Can you do a research on them? Are they, where are they? So on and so forth. So skilled realtor makes more sense because it's it's a buying and selling. The the I should say all the aspects are same or similar. The neighborhood is different, and every neighborhood you cannot keep going and looking for every neighborhood as a different local skilled realtor. Now, that's local realtor may be skilled in detached home, but not in semi-detached, or so on and so forth. So you need a good skilled realtor. Not, I don't agree with the local part.
That makes sense. Okay, now, even to tell you frankly, each of these areas are regularly changing. You get my point? We may
Mm.
have bought in a particular area, and within 6 months, that area has changed. There is other factors that have come into place. So wonderful, Faisal. Thank you again for your time. And I think so. You have to go today. So I will really appreciate your time till now, and I will let you go, and you can have your goodbye to the audience, and then I will proceed with the power presentation. Go ahead, Faisal.
Thank you, audience, and thank you again for the opportunity. Yes, I have to be somewhere for 8:30. Thank you again.
Awesome, wonderful. And we never expected, but we talked to you. Wonderful.
Well, we talk too much, and therefore there's way too much information out there. That's only helping to our clients. So at the end of the day, our clients are benefiting.
Sure. We'll be meeting in 2 weeks' time on the 28th of December,
Yes.
and then we'll catch on the next article. Again, really appreciate all the time and expertise
Thank
here.
you. Thank you, sir.
We'll talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
now let me take it over to the next uh, next part here. Let's see if I can walk you through. Rent to own works, but be aware of the pitfalls. So I will be walking you through this particular whole thing, and let's see if I can guide you completely. Now, I am going to cover 4 5 aspects of rent to own, and the rent to own works, and I'll explain you in one situation where it works perfectly, and then what are some of the pitfalls there. So the first one we are going to discuss it out here is the security issues. Then we are going to cover some of the financing issues and how they play a role in here. Then I'll be covering the property value issues there. And then we'll take it over for some credit repair issues. And the last one I'll take it over with are some landlord issues. So those are the 4 5 pitfalls that I am going to cover tonight, and we will take it over there. Now, does rent to own homes works? Yes. This question has been there for quite a while, and I have at most of the times have always walked you through. It only works in one situation, and that situation I am going to explain it to you with an example. So let's just suppose an investor buys a property for you for $500,000. The zero had dropped down, but that's a $500,000 property that is there. Now, there is a 5% appreciation per year. So, after 5 years, you have to pick up the property at $630,000. Now, this is called the option price. So, let me explain you. Option price is the amount which is decided between the buyer and the seller as the final price on day one. Now, so after 5 years, you have to buy this particular property at $630,000. If by chance the market value of that property has become $700,000, again the zero is fallen out, then and then only the rent to own homes format works. In any other format, it does not work. So you have to be very careful about. So this is the does the rent to own homes work? Yes, it works only in one format, and you have to be aware of that one format. If the market value is more than the option price, and I've just explained you, the option price is a price that you decide on the basis of appreciation of the property per year with the seller on day one, that after 5 years I'll be putting it up at this one, and the per year appreciation is this much. So if you work it out, so at that scenario, the rent to own homes work. Okay, now what are the pitfalls? So let's go through the first pitfall of rent to own homes. And the first one is security issues. So let me walk you through what exactly is the equation with the security. Now, this is very important. What is the security that the property will close on completion? See, you have to get a mortgage at that particular stage. So you have to make sure that you get approved for that particular amount at that one. So right from day one, you have to get qualified for 630 for a 5K, $500,000 property, and you have to pick it up in 5 years. Because in the end, if you do not close the property on completion, you have lost the property, and you have lost all your down payment, and you have lost all the initial down payment and the down payment that you have been giving it to them on a per month basis. So it is very, very important. It carries the same risk as a traditional mortgage with no chance of recovery. So make sure that you understand that particular equation very, very clearly, that I have to get qualified for a 630 at the end of the term, which is 5 years down the line. Let's go through the second one. Financing issues. Now, let's see what exactly is the financing. What is the assurance that the financing will come through at closing? It is absolutely understandable that will I get the financing on, like, are you doing your income calculations accordingly? Are you doing your debt accordingly? Are you repairing your credit? Because see, if your credit score goes above 680, you come into a different format, then it is below 680. So you have to work all those numbers so that it makes sure that your financing goes through properly. And that is what it is. There is no guarantee that the tenant buyer can secure a mortgage at the time of closing. So you have to do your due diligence more in order to make sure that you get the financing at the time of closing. So that is the financing issue that has to be absolutely addressed. Next one is the property value issues. It has to be understood very, very carefully. Now, let's suppose in 5 years you have to buy that particular property at 630, but the value of that property has fallen down to 600. So now the bank is only going to give you 600. You will have to have an additional $30,000 in order to close that property. So that has to be understood. What happens if the market value of the property is less than the option price? That is what I was trying to explain. So you will need additional funds to close the property. So these are some of the pitfalls you will have to be aware from day one. Let's get to the next pitfall. Credit repair issues. Absolutely. Now, you did rent to own because your credit score was bad. And in 5 years' time, you have to repair your credit to an extent that you are able to procure a mortgage. So the mortgage broker, the real estate agent, the other professionals in the picture, they will always be guiding you properly so that you are able to repair your credit. Now, by chance, what happens if the credit does not get repaired at the time of closing and you have come up with some other, like COVID came out of the blue? So you had a job, now you've lost a job. What happens? There are, apart from the credit, there can be other similar circumstances. The income issues also can come into the picture, which can affect your credit score. And so you have to figure those elements beforehand, and those are the pitfalls. The tenant buyer can lose all the initial deposit, extra down payment, and any renovation money that you have put into the property in the 4 or 5 years, all will be lost. So you have to have a very good idea what are you trying to do in this particular format. Okay, the last one that we are covering here is the landlord issue. This is interesting. What happens if the seller or landlord gets into a financial problem? Now, let's say suppose he has given you a rent to own and you are supposed to close it in 5 years. Now, he also, because of COVID, loses his job. Now he's not paying the mortgage because he may be getting some funds from you, but it is not that the entire funds, you may be only paying him $3,000 and the property may require $3,500. There may be a shortfall there, or the utility bills or the property taxes, and because he's not able to make any money, he may be losing on that. And if he gets into a financial problem, so how do you address those issues? So that is where you will have to have a very good contract, and you'll have to figure it out how to work this thing around and then go from there. But that is one of the things that you'll have to figure it out. It may be a non-binding agreement and the only recourse may be through courts. So you have to make sure that you go through some of these details and figure it out. You're like, okay, this can happen, and some of these 4 or 5 pitfalls I've highlighted here. So that is the reason that brings us to the end of our rent to own homes program. And the reason we call it a very smart program, because we take you to the next level and try to walk you through each and every detail of that particular program. So, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our article. And now, before I conclude, let me give you some of the websites that I have that you have visited. So I have 2 of my websites. I'm going to take you over to those particular 2 websites. So this is one of my websites, which is called manojatri.com. You must have come here and registered yourself for this webinar, or if you need some of the more information here, you can also navigate on the right hand side. You have these ones. We buy houses, any GTA areas, any condition. I have lots of investors with me, and they are cash buyers, and you can look into this if you are struggling with a property that you are having trouble selling. Again, we have some power of sale. Now, if you're looking for power of sale, bank sale, distressed properties, I have the whole list with me, and feel free to give me an email. I'll be more than happy to put it all together for you. So that is another thing. Again, the next one is zero down with the cashback program. Yes, we have lots of alternatives. If by chance you are on the fence and looking for a zero down or a cashback program, let me know. We will be able to guide you. Yes, for a cashback program, you generally sometimes require a very good credit score. But if you're like on the fence or very close to it, we can also get you help with the credit repair, and we can take it to the next level there. Then we have rent to own homes, which I'm an expert there too. And feel free to ask me any of these particular questions. Every alternate Mondays, we do our webinar from 7 to 8 or 8:30 p.m., whatever time we finish it up. And you are more than welcome to join us on this particular venture to facilitate your buying. And next one is, if you are in a market with buying and selling at the same time, feel free to give me a word. Buzz, I'll be more than happy to walk you through both of those particular scenarios. And so that is one of my website. One of my other areas is this is a newsletter which I do, gta-news.manojatri.ca, where I curate 8 or 10 articles for you and send it over to you on a daily basis. The description In the description, you can find a link to this where you can come and subscribe to this newsletter. And I curate around 8 or 10 articles on a daily basis and keep you abreast with the latest what is going on in the real estate of Toronto and the GTA area. So that is where things are, and you can be more apt at the real estate that is going on in the Toronto GTA areas with these particular articles. So feel free to join it. And that brings us to a close. And these are the two of the websites of Faisal Garcia, the mortgage broker, creditrepairnow.ca, and you can be in touch with him there. And his other website is faisalgarcia.com, and you can also go in there. And those are the ways that you can be in touch with us. Now, so this brings us to a close of the uh, webinar for today, and that is where we are tonight. So thank you again for joining, and feel free to give me any small queries you have for real estate. I'll be more than happy to guide you, and I'll take an opportunity to call it a day today. And Faisal had to rush earlier. We took more time with the article, so that is where we are today. And again, thank you for joining, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. I will see you on the 28th of December, 7 to 8 p.m., and take you to the next round of article and real estate. Wonderful.